This morning, Mr. Amaria Jackson. Of course, he's all the way from Atlanta, Georgia. He's down today, and of course, he's going to be talking with some of the younger people. Now, just so happened, this also falls for our older people, because it doesn't matter what your age is, you can always be at the wrong place at the wrong time. You can get it caught up with the wrong friends. It's any numerous of things that can happen. But Mr. Jackson,
yes.
Now I know that you're going to be speaking this morning.
Yes, ma'am.
And where is your place that you're going to be at this morning?
It's going to be at New Light Baptist Church, and it's going to begin at 10 o'clock this morning, and it is the Young Men's Conference.
Okay.
And we have a whole host, a whole heap of community-minded, service-oriented, youth-centered, open-heart men that are going to be speaking to the young men and the young ladies, and as you said, and anybody else who listens, and there's going to be a full message about being an example before your peers.
Okay. Well, that sounds like it works hand in hand with you. I mean, if you're going to be speaking, you want your peers to be there, and of course, anybody else that needs to hear this.
Absolutely.
Maybe they can take it somewhere else and tell somebody else. You know, as they say, call somebody and tell that person, let that person tell somebody else. So yeah, that works out good. Now, I know that we did have a call a little earlier called and said, where can they get a copy of your book?
Absolutely. The book is available online at www.guidetoprison.com. It is also available in my trunk while I'm here for the weekend. And as I've been saying, my mother, bless her heart with her beautiful self, she's a manager of the bookstore at the college. And my lovely Aunt Linda, with her pretty self, is a librarian at the library. And they've already told me that they're going to keep copies with them so that any way anyone needs to get a copy, they can. And they can also reach me via my email address for a request, which is amariajackson@gmail.com. And I'll spell that. That's AHMARIAH Jackson@gmail.com. That is also my Facebook name. And on Twitter, I am @AnonymousTheory. So there's absolutely no excuse and a million ways by which someone can get this book and try to change their lives and the lives of those around them.
Now, you know, I was looking at some flashcards here that I have, or something that's helpful.
Yes, ma'am.
Something that the community should know. And a lot of us do know these things. Now, and nothing is wrong with it, to know your rights. Everybody should know their rights. Now, when you get right down to it, a lot of people says, I'm not supposed to say anything if the police stop me. I'm not supposed to say anything if they handcuff me. I'm just supposed to take it and just roll with it. Then you have other people that, on the other hand, they want to get a little violent. They want to get a little big-chested, I'd say. And I see that. I pass by, and you know, you see the officers have stopped somebody on the way, and you do want to say, be quiet. Just be quiet. Don't say anything. But that doesn't stop them, because when they think that they're right, they're going to take it on. And I know that a lot of people have said, well, what should I do? How should I react to certain situations? And is there anything that you can help them out with that?
Absolutely. So what she's referencing, what you referencing, Ms. Cherie, is on the back of the flyers for the book we have, Know Your Rights. And very much what you just said is absolutely important. The idea that you are suddenly going to go turn on the police officer and get in his face because he stopped you is absolutely absurd. But also to become sheepish and to simply bow down to whatever they say is equally as absurd. Now, in our Constitution and in that Bill of Rights, we are guaranteed certain inalienable rights. And those are the things that we're supposed to stand by. And in my research and in paying attention, I've noticed that a lot of people find themselves incriminated by their own actions. And in fact, if you pay attention to the first 48 that comes on A&E, you can see it play out on television. And so there are certain things that I like to bring to light. Like, for example, The police officer does not bring charges against you. The
Right.
police officer does not decide what you will be charged with. They do not decide what the evidence means. In fact, that's the job of the district attorney. So when you're watching television and you're watching Law and Order and the detective looks over and he says, this is your last chance to save yourself, that's an absolute lie. That's your last chance to hang yourself. The reality is you have attorneys for a reason.
Right.
Just like you have doctors for a reason, just like you have radio hosts for a reason, and you have people who do lawn care for a reason. It is your attorney's job to speak for you. It is your attorney who is aware of the loopholes and the way things go, which is why in your Miranda rights it says you have the right to remain silent. And in the book I stress this over and over again. Remain silent. Use that right. Because what you think you may be doing, you'll probably be implicating yourself.
Exactly.
And also, it's important to know that what you give an officer permission to do, whatever they find is then admissible against you in court. So, for example, if you're pulled over for something like a moving violation, for speeding, or even suspended license, and if the officer says, "May I search your car?" and you say, "Yeah," well, anything that he finds is now admissible. However, you have the right to say no because they have to have reasonable suspicion in order to search your automobile. And with all of the police misconduct that we've seen, and mind you, let me be clear, I am by no means having any assault on the police department or the justice system. There are weights and checks and balances in the society for a reason. However, man is imperfect and absolute power sometimes corrupts absolutely. And with the rash of police brutality and police tampering with evidence and coercing witnesses, the honest truth for me is I don't want a police officer anywhere near my trunk or anywhere inside of my car in case he does have a vendetta and he drops something there and then suddenly finds it. If he's not in my car, if he's not in my trunk and I don't have it, I don't have to worry about it appearing, if you will. So it's important to know your rights. It's important to put forward your rights. But it's also important to recognize that police officers deserve respect.
Right.
And police officers are human. And so just like any other man, if you get in a man's face and you pump up your chest and you start wolfing, you can respect that and you can expect that in return. Likewise, simply because you're putting forth your rights does not mean that you have to suddenly become irate. You don't have to become disrespectful. You don't have to become rude. And you definitely don't have to become violent, because then you put yourself in a situation where you've received an additional charge when you may not have been charged with anything from the initial stop.
Okay.
And all of that about the car goes the same way for your house. If you invite an officer into your house, then anything that's in plain sight becomes admissible.
Exactly. There you have it. Mr. Amaria Jackson.
Amaria Jackson.
You know what? I like that name.
Thank you. And
I want to thank your mom for giving you that name, because now and I'm sure that you can tell us what that name means.
Yes, it is. And strangely enough, my older aunt gave me that name. My Auntie Sue Orley Cannon, God bless, God rest in peace. She gave me that name, and the name is Hebrew, and it means God has spoken.
Okay.
A heavy thing to give a child at a young age.
At a young age, but you know what? You're doing it. You're making it do.
Thank you.
And I will say my hats are off to you, because you're doing what the one that sent you to do. And you're doing a great job. I like that. But what we're going to do right now, we're going to jump right back into the music. We're going to continue to bring you the very best in blues and oldies off the request line, should I say. Or should I? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it. But this one's called Take Off Your Shoes.
Now you can tell him, please tell him, please tell him. I personally requested this song, Bobby Blue Bland, Take Off Your Shoes.
Before you what?
If you're going to walk all over my loved woman, the least you can do is take off your shoes. It's going to hurt anyway, but you ain't got to hurt me no more, baby.
Yeah, you know, he's doing it. He's doing a great job up here. Y'all know we may come in one Saturday morning. He may be on the air, y'all.
I want your job. You do a great job.
Give it like you're to your #1 station here in Eastern Arkansas and Northwest Mississippi. We are Delta Force 3.